You're listening to Brauni, the Authentic Jazz Artist Podcast, hosted by Brauni McDaniel and brought to you by 50/50 Global Music, Sony Music, and The Orchard Publishing, and powered by Art 19 Bertelsmann Group. Now, live from Nashville, here is your host, Brauni.
Welcome, everybody. This is Brauni, the Authentic Jazz Artist Podcast Show. And we have a lot of great things that we're going to be talking about this afternoon or tonight, maybe wherever you guys are, maybe morning, don't know. But anyway, what a great time it is, and happy Thanksgiving week to you all. It's such a great time of the year, and we always have something that we can be thankful for, correct? My co-host, Tony McDaniel?
Yes, we can always be thankful for something.
That's right.
And, it's going to be a great Thanksgiving week. Families all around the world are getting together, especially here in the United States. Mm-hmm. Brauni, music is such a big part of everyone's, living. Mm-hmm. They like to listen to something. What kind of music do you, I know you're jazz, and I know that's your genre, but...
Well, I like jazz. I do blues. I do country. I love gospel. That's my roots. I love that little R&B feel. I love easy listening, so I'm pretty versatile when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, I was going to say, too, tonight's guest is one that you're pretty familiar with. You know him. You've met him before.
Great friend of mine, Tim McDonald.
Friend of yours. His name, Tim McDonald, great pianist and also
artist, singer.
And
writer. I mean, he's amazing, phenomenal.
Yeah. And can't wait to him share his story.
He's worked with a lot of great musicians.
We'll have him on very soon. Get back to Thanksgiving. So what one thing are you thankful for this year?
I'm thankful that I have life, that God has given me life, and that I get to see another day. I'm so thankful for so many things. I'm so thankful, even though we have some family, we all have family there, that some we're get to see and close to them. Some may you not get to see, but you know what? You're thankful no matter what. There's always something to be grateful for. I'm thankful for a house, I'm
thankful that, we're able to wake up every day and
that's right.
And thank God for this day. But
thankful for many friends, new friends this year I've even met, just great friends.
Exactly. Well, on the music front, you'll be at Burger and Company this Saturday,
6 to 8.
6 to 8. That's in Old Hickory, Tennessee.
Yes.
So if you're in the area this weekend, please come on by and eat some great burgers. They're awesome, and the live music obviously will be great.
That's right.
And I think you got another show coming up the following week.
Yes. At local Joe's Cafe in Mount Juliet, Joe Perricone and his son Joseph. Yeah. They are amazing people. Great food there, awesome food, great staff. Can't say enough good about them too. We'll be there, I think, from December 2nd, 5:30 to 7-ish, something like that.
Well, getting back to Thanksgiving, what is your favorite part of Thanksgiving? We'll start with the food. What besides the turkey? We all know that a lot of people use turkey. What's your favorite food?
Well, I love pecan pie. I just love pecan pie.
Pecan pie or pecan?
I say pecan.
Pecan. I think mine is, I like the dressing. Dressing is my favorite.
Oh, I love dressing too.
Yeah.
I love it.
But I'll surely eat everything else too.
I bet you will.
Oh, my Lord. I know. Growing up when I was a kid, being around family, we got to experience both my mom and dad's side at times, and it was a lot of fun. Just sitting around and, most traditional people, they'll watch the ball games, like the football games that come on and stuff. You got anything special you're going to want to do that day? I know that we're going to visit with family.
Not really. I just want to be able to feel the love and spread the love. That's my main thing, you know. I don't really have anything in particular.
That sounds like one of your songs. Feel the love in the air.
It is.
How's that song go?
Let me see. Feel the love in the air. Never doubt it's not there. Think of all the love you have. People caring for you. So when you're in doubt, when you feel alone, just hold on. You gotta hold on. There's so much love in the air. Never down. It's not there. That's a little bit of it right there.
Oh, I love that song, especially when you play it. There's another one that's a lot like that song that you have. Let's see. It's on the tip of my tongue, huh? What is it?
Well, what's it talking about? That might help us.
Well, there's a song that you wrote. It's called.
That's okay.
Oh, I knew we were going. I knew I was going to
just got a moment there, don't you?
But no, it's called "Heading Down."
Oh yeah. Heading down this 2-lane road, looking for a new place to go. I see the birds and the clouds and the trees whispering something to me. You see right here, as I pass through this little town of mine, can't seem to get you off my mind. Everywhere I go, it reminds me of our first kiss. Didn't want it to end, but I'm thinking of something like this, baby. And that's what a little bit that one's about. Men in a Broken Heart.
Men in a Broken Heart. Yeah, that's right.
It's a great song.
What's one of your? I know one of your favorites. It's on your Christmas album that you did. It's out right now on Spotify and in iTunes. Well, you know, Chestnuts. We all heard your song there, but Please Come Home for Christmas. That's one of the ones you like to play. Play that one real quick. Just a little bit of it.
Please come home for Christmas. And if not for Christmas, please come home for Christmas. Ooh, if not New Year's Day.
All right. Well, that just reminds me to just make sure everybody knows that your song, your Christmas that you did with Chris Schaffner, has 5 songs on it, or 5 songs on it. Go look it up. It's "Oh It's Christmas" on Spotify and Apple Music. You'll enjoy them. They're some of those classic songs, and one of them's "Oh It's Christmas." And how's that one go again?
The one that I wrote.
Yeah.
Let me think just a second. Guess what? What? Well, it's Christmas time.
No, I was talking about.
That's the one I wrote. This funny song.
Yeah, I was talking about.
Get it together.
I won't hesitate.
Oh, yeah. I won't hesitate. I won't question why you're late. That's a little bit of it right there. You just have to go get it, download it, get it.
So, and you know, that's Friday's Black Friday.
And you guys are always welcome. Hey, if you want to send me some kind of love offering, I just definitely accept it too. I can give you the Venmo. We'll put that Venmo link on here.
Your website's Brauni.
Don't ever feel obligated to, but much love is appreciated. And I also have my website of merchandise now.
Yeah,
a lot of good stuff going on with that.
But, you know, it's going to be an exciting week for us. So with just the holidays coming, but I guess we'll go on this note. We'll play one of your Christmas songs real quick. That's on the thing on Spotify. We'll do "Please Come Home for Christmas." We'll play that, and then when we come back, we'll have our guest Tim McDonald on the show. You are listening to Brauni, the Authentic Jazz podcast show.
Thanks, guys, so much.
And here we'll be right back after this song.
Bells will be ringing, glad, glad news. Oh, What a Christmas to have the blues. My baby is gone. I have no friends to wish me greeting. Oh, once again, while we'll be singing, oh, silent night, those Christmas carols by candlelight. Please come home for Christmas. Please come home for Christmas. If not for Christmas, by New Year's night. Friends and relations send salutation, just as sure as the stars shine above. Yes, they do. This is Christmas. Christmas, my dear, the time of year to be with the one that you love. Then won't you tell me you never more wrong? Christmas and New Year's is gonna find you at home. There'll be no more sorrow, no grief or pain, 'cause I'll be happy that it's Christmas once again. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah, baby. Oh yeah, come on, baby. Please come home for Christmas.
And you're listening to Brauni, the Authentic Jazz Artist Podcast. Now, here's your host, Brauni.
Hello, everyone. This is Brauni, the Authentic Jazz Artist Podcast Show. Welcome, wherever you may be. It may be morning or evening or nighttime. Really not sure since it's all over the world. And we're so excited tonight. Once again, that first guy you heard was Tony McDaniel, my co-host.
Hello.
Yeah, and so happy tonight. I got one of my great friends that we're going to be talking to tonight, and Mr. Tim McDonald. We want to say hello to him right now, Tim.
Hello, Tim.
Hey, everybody.
What's up?
What's going on,
Hey,
Tim?
I love that song. That was a song that you played on your intro called Straight No Chaser, written by Thelonious Monk.
Yeah.
I think recorded by Miles Davis. Is that correct?
That is correct. You're on
Yeah.
I
spot.
love that stuff, man. I forgot I was on like your jazz program.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So this is pretty cool because that's what I call the dark side, you know.
I
Yeah.
know we were telling everybody, Tim, about how great of a pianist you are.
Phenomenal.
Well, I appreciate that.
And an
Thanks,
artist
Yvonne.
and a singer.
You know, you're a great piano player too. I've been checking a bunch of your new stuff out that you have on Facebook and stuff that you just played down in Franklin, I think.
I did. Me and some of the guys.
Yeah.
I can't
Sounded
wait for you and I to
wonderful.
get
Really good
together
band.
and jam.
Yeah.
We're gonna,
That'd be
me and
great.
you, we gotta get something going one day and maybe write something and actually sing a song and get it cut out there. You know?
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm all about that.
Yeah, me too.
So,
Yeah.
so you've been recording songs. You've been out playing
Yeah,
around.
man. So I just went over 100 songs on iTunes, which I think is pretty cool.
Wow.
You know, I've always been writing stuff. In fact, my first three records were jazz.
That's awesome.
Jazz trio records, kind of like in the vein of Bill Evans and Keith Jarrett, that kind of older style. I didn't sing on them.
Yeah.
And then when I moved to town, I did my fourth jazz record with Chester Thompson and Roy Vogt, and I did sing because I have a version of Walking in Memphis
Yes.
that's on there.
yes.
But I like to write jazz, and I don't sing a whole lot of jazz, but I do every now and then. I do a co-write where I'll write some lyrics to some stuff, because the piano's so much. The piano's so much fun to write jazz.
It's kind of like you can really do not just jazz, but you can really fill a song with that piano. I mean, the keyboard.
You can, and you can use all these pretty chords, and because it's all kind of like theory laid out in front of you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Talking about that.
Black keys and stuff.
Talking about that, Tim, how old were you when you started playing music and realized that you could play and sing and all that stuff?
Well, I was, my mom was, I'll start with my dad. My dad was a pastor. My mom sang in church. And so she had me and my brother starting really early. I was 3 when I started playing. Doesn't mean I was any good, but I started real young so we could back up Mom, and my brother always backed up Mom in church.
Can you believe that? That is awesome. Yeah.
And I was always the other kid that could play piano.
Right. I bet you were like up there 3 years old, had your sunglasses on back there in the back playing that piano, didn't you?
Hey, don't tell nobody, Tony. Well, I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was more, and I didn't like to be in front of people. In fact, I think one of the first times I got up to sing, I actually started crying. Because I'm like, I do not want to be up here. And after a while, I just, once I started figuring it out, then it was like, oh, okay, I can do this. And this is fun. Because I was classically trained.
That's awesome.
So I couldn't really make up stuff. I was composing. But this was before I knew how to, write it on paper and stuff.
Right.
And when I joined the Army as a musician, then I learned how to do all of that stuff, how to play by ear and literally, writing stuff out on paper that I was composing, and I would memorize that. And after I did that several times with different styles of mainly jazz, we did a little bit of, pop music and stuff, but mainly the different jazz idioms like bossa nova, down in Brazil, and we had salsa, which is Afro-Cuban music, and then we had, some merengue. You had rumba.
Right.
We did a ballad, and we did some swing,
Wow.
And so I looked at a piece of paper, saw these notes with chords, with a chord written above it, and I was like, man, I really don't know what to do with that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had to write everything out, and that's how I got started composing.
And you did that in the Army.
Memorized that stuff, it became easy, and then I didn't have to write it out anymore.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But it took a lot of work to get to that point.
Yes, it is about work. Yes,
well, I understand that you also teach people how to play piano now. You're a teacher as well.
Yeah, well, I don't do a ton of teaching now. I've got a couple students. I teach Uncle Cracker's keyboard player.
Yeah.
Who's a really cool Canadian girl, and she's really good. And I teach a few students here and there. I taught in the Army. I did teach for the military, Army, Navy, Marine Corps at the military school in Virginia Beach. So,
wow.
I didn't plan on being a teacher. That just gig kind of fell in my lap.
Yeah,
but
that happens sometimes, though, doesn't it?
Say that again.
I said that happens sometimes, doesn't it? If things just fall in your lap.
Yeah, it does. Well, they say if you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans. So I just that was a really cool gig. I did it for 3 years. It was a high pressure gig, because I have to send my piano players off to these Army bands and Navy and Marine Corps bands, and you don't want to get called back from their commander saying, "What did you send us? Why did you just can't play?" And so I felt like I got a really good, because we didn't have anything to really go by. It was kind of like you teach and make sure they know how to play. And so I had to come up with this curriculum, off the top of my head and just start teaching these piano players. And most of them knew kind of how to play. Most of them could do scales and chords, but a lot of them were classically trained. So I had to teach them how to, the same thing that I had to go through, write everything out, improvise and all that stuff. And so I really do like to teach, and because I've never been the smartest student in school, and so I learned ways to teach people that that anybody can understand.
Well, you know what they say. You know what they say, Tim. You always learn more when you're teaching somebody else.
Well, that's true. And I always learn from my students. I'd have some students. I mean, every student I'd learn something. Because they had something that I probably hadn't learned.
Yeah.
Right.
So, some students came in and they were smoking. They had master's degree from college, and they were probably, more educated than I. Of course, I could play better than them, but that doesn't mean anything. But I would learn from them. But we had fun, almost going on an adventure together. So each student has their own level,
Right.
And you try to teach each student because you obviously don't want to teach over their head, but you also want to push them.
Yeah.
And so you want to make them interested, because the difference between we had probably when we all grew up, the difference that we had is we didn't have as many distractions.
Yeah, you got that right.
Talk about it. Yeah.
Hold on, wait a second. Let me look at my phone.
Yeah, exactly.
So Tim, I wanted to ask you.
If we would have had all those learning things like YouTube, we would probably be 10 times better than we are now.
Right.
Because they have all that, but they'd also have the distractions of, video games and, like you said, your cell phone or TV and all the channels and all the things that that we didn't have growing up. And so you went to the piano, and that was your entertainment. That was your Facebook. That was your YouTube. That was everything. That was your TV. Everything. And so after a while, you just started, getting good at it because you do it so much.
Well, that's the old cliche that you always hear about when we were growing up. Mom opened the door and said, "Go play for a while and come back at about dinner time." Go entertain yourself.
Absolutely. And I had, I didn't have a choice, because my parents made me practice every day, and if I missed practice for vacation, I had to come back and make all that time up. So it was a strict regime. They always provided great teachers for me. Most of them were local, but I had a German classical teacher who was probably way too strict, but I learned from it. And then I had another teacher that taught me, as if I was playing at the Opryland Hotel or something. Taught me Chariots of Fire and songs like that. Songs that everybody knows, because not everybody knows classical music. Just like jazz, nobody knows that. Probably 90% of your audience may not know that, the first tune you played, the name of it, and, who wrote it and who played on it. But it's like, hey, that's cool. What is that? And then you start discovering all this other music and then you're like, once you learn the other music, like, well, hey, man, let me try to write that. Let me try to write something that complements it, doesn't copy it.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't plagiarize, but it's it's complimenting that song, and it's something that kind of maybe have the same chord progression, but has a different melody, because that's a blues tune. Straight No Chaser is just an F major blues tune, and you can play. There's so many tunes because the blues was kind of the beginning of jazz,
Mm-hmm.
And
let me ask you this, talking about that, Tim, who are some of the these artists that you have played with? Name a few of them so people can know who you are too.
Okay, so in the jazz, since I don't get to talk about that a lot, I played in the Woody, the big band. Gosh, I'm trying to think of the name now. I played with the Virginia Symphony. I started off with them. And then there was a big time big band. And I keep thinking of Woody Shaw, the trumpet player, but it wasn't. It was a Woody. He was a trumpet player, but he wasn't Woody Shaw. And I played in his big band. I recorded with and played with.
Was it Woody Packer?
What's that?
Was it Woody Packer?
No. I'll have to look
I'm
up.
Just kidding.
I'll have to look it up.
I'm just kidding.
I did a session earlier, so my brain's a little bit, as I call, fried.
Now, what about some of these country artists who you played for?
Yeah, so I started out with Mark Chestnut, the Woody Herman big band. That was a big band I played in. But I started out with Mark Chestnut when I moved to town, and I did about 2.5 years with him. And then Blake Shelton called, and I did about 6 months with Blake Shelton.
It's awesome.
Because I was on the road, and I really didn't want to spend on the road that long. And then I moved out to Austin, and I played with a guy named Corey Morrow, who's a big Texas artist. And then I moved back to town, and I went out with Olivia Newton-John. I did a world tour with her. We did New York. We did Australia with a symphonic tour. We did 3 nights at the Sydney Opera House, which was really cool.
Wow, you're amazing. That's awesome.
It was a lot of fun. And then we did, and I was just filling in for the guy that was on tour with Michael McDonald, doing a Resurgence tour. And then she asked me to, keep going out, which was cool. And so we did Asia. We did 9 gigs in 8 countries in Asia. And then I moved back, and that was the end of my tenure with her, filling in. And then Hank Jr. called, and so I went out with him for a bit, and just filled in for Joey, his piano player, who was having a surgery at the time. And those gigs like that, you just fill in, and unless they say this person's coming off the road, it's your turn. You just kind of fill in. And then after that, I went out with Pam Tillis. I did Pam Tillis for about two years. And now I'm out touring with a rock legend named Rick Gehringer, who had the song back in 1954 called Hang On, Sloopy.
Oh, wow. That one, Hang On, Snoopy, that one?
Yeah, that one. Hang on, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang on.
That's a cute song, yeah.
And he also had Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, and he was more of a producer, so he produced and, he recorded with bands, and we got to tour with the band Steely Dan, and so he produced them, and he produced the Winter Brothers, Johnny and Edgar Winter. In fact, right before the pandemic hit, we were supposed to go out with Edgar. Johnny's passed away, but Edgar is a keyboard player and a saxophone player that actually recorded with Tina Turner, and he has a song called Frankenstein that they had written. And so we were supposed to tour with him, but that got cut short, And
my Lord, Tim, we need to get you a podcast show.
Come over here and join us, boy.
Hey, I'm on one. I'm on one.
I know, right?
I'm having fun talking to you guys. I don't know if I could, want to put that work on myself or not.
Oh my Lord, you do well.
It's great stuff, though. But yeah, and we're so happy that. Well, before we get done, I want to hear about your latest songs and your album that you have out. Can you tell us a little bit about that and where they can find it?
Yeah, sure. So my latest record is called 10. It's my 10th studio record, and it's basically country songs. I've got a funk song on there called Hot Chicken, and I've got some other styles, but I just wanted to call it 10 because it's my 10th record,
That's
and
awesome.
So I took 13 songs on 10, and since Christmas music's taken over right now, I'm going to wait till the first of the year, and I'm going to release a song called One Hell of a Story. And so I wrote almost all the songs, but usually I like to put a cover on each album so people will, recognize the song. So I put 2 country versions that I came up with. I guess you'd call them arrangements. One song is called Summer of '69.
I love that song.
I can tell you, that's nice right there already.
Yeah, and it's country, it's cornbread, a string bean, and then I did another song because I was thinking, man, everything was going crazy, and I was like, I've always been a big Bobby McFerrin fan, so I did a country version of "Don't Worry, Be Happy" that's on the new record.
Oh, that's gonna
great!
be cool.
I can't wait. Yeah, that's awesome.
And I whistle and everything.
Well, you need to get me one and autograph it, okay?
Yeah, of course.
So what
great.
song?
How about that? You can give me an autograph record. I'll give you one.
That's right.
I'm really proud of it. I had a bunch of different musicians on it. I've been recording with Luke Bryan's band because they are all studio guys, and so James Cook, who's the bass player and engineer, who does an awesome job. He lives over there.
Well, please tell them I said hello.
What's that?
Please tell Luke and Blake Shelton and some of them that I said hello.
Yeah, of course I will. They're really nice guys.
Yeah.
And I love to use their bands because we all toured together, and they're all seasoned musicians. They play what's this pop music on the radio, but when you record with them, we record some really deep stuff. And so they're really deep intellectual musicians. That James is from Louisiana, and so he can play all that funk and quasi jazz, stuff.
Right.
And so it's really cool recording with these guys because they're real monsters on their instruments, and we just go in there and we have a fun time. I'll cut maybe 4 songs and we'll just go in there and James will make some food for us. He'll make some of that Louisiana stew,
Yeah,
with
gumbo.
his crew, and he'll make all that stuff.
What song do you want us to play for you right now? What
Yeah,
song
why
do you
don't
want
you go
everybody
ahead
to
and
hear?
play the new single, which it'll be out in January, but people would like to hear it. It's called One Hell of a Story.
All right, One Hell of a
I
Story.
actually have a music video to that too.
Wow.
All right. Well, we're going to play that song, And when we come back, we'll let Tim talk a little bit more about how he came up with it. You're listening to Brauni, the Authentic Jazz Artist Podcast, and we'll be right back after this song.
Should've never gone down in this little town. Two young kids gonna kick it with all their friends. I drove to your house, you got in, rocking that Holy Jean lipstick tank top grin. You thought we were set up in the middle of nowhere. Man, that was awkward with no one else out there. Then you hit me with your lips. I was Jack and you were Diane. Felt like old Luke, hand in hand. I was Johnny and you were June, like a summer night that's gone too soon. It wasn't perfect, but damn sure we tried, knowing we were gonna let it die. We went down in a blaze of glory with one hell of a story. Oh, what a crazy but best of times. We made the most of that hell of a summertime. Your mama told me it's gonna get tough, but there just ain't nothing broken of you and I can't fix. Man, I won't forget that kiss. I was Jack and you were Diane. Felt like old Luke, hand in hand. I was Johnny and you were June, like a summer night that's gone too soon. It wasn't perfect, but damn sure we tried, knowing we were gonna let it die. We went down in a blaze of glory with one hell of a story. I was Jack and you were Diane. Felt like old Luke, hand in hand. I was Johnny and you were June, like a summer night that's gone too soon. It wasn't perfect, but damn sure we tried, knowing we were gonna let it die. We went down in a blaze of glory with one hell of a story. One hell of a story. One hell of a story. One hell of a story.
And that was One Hell of a Story by Tim McDonald. And you're listening to Brauni, the Authentic Jazz Podcast. All right, Brauni. Tim, that was a great song. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yes.
Well, man, I wrote that with a friend, Scott Barrier, came over. I hooked up with him through a songwriter, Kirsty Manna, who wrote Austin for Blake Shelton. And so she always sends some of the writers that want to write with her, and so I'm kind of like the study guy, And so we just came up with this, man. I think I had this in my phone. And he's a great lyricist and great melody guy. And so we just kind of wrote this together and just basically about a, young couple. They could be in their teens because it's talking about, it's basically their first date, and so they're pretty much high school age.
Yeah.
And then they grow old together, and it just goes to tell about their mom's advice and stuff. And so we just thought we wanted to write a song about, how
like
a
a
couple,
great
like,
story.
you guys have been together for a while. And so you look at each other one day and you're like, man, it's been one hell of a story. You kind of look back on your whole relationship because, you stick together through thick and thin. And when you say your vows, sick or poor, death, till death do you part. And so that's kind of what the story was about.
Well, Tim, that sounds like one hell of a great story.
I like that. I see what you did there.
I know. That's good.
Well, you better get prepared because people are probably going to be talking about it a lot.
I want to say one time, guys and gals out there, that are listening, make sure you share this with your friends, and so their friends can share it with their friends, and the list goes on. But you guys, make sure you go download Tim McDonald's music, because he is one great artist.
He's the real deal, guys.
That's right.
And
I
you know,
appreciate that.
speaking of the genres of music, you have a bluegrass. Tell us about your bluegrass. Is it an album, songs, or?
Yeah, it's an album, man. It's just real quick. It's my pandemic record. You know, we had so much time off. I'm sure y'all had a lot of time off.
Yeah.
Everybody did. So I've been working and writing with Byron Berline, and he discovered Vince Gill, and he found me in the Army when I was in my early 20s. And so I'd recorded on 5 of his records.
Well, you're just 25, man.
I know. I'm just 25. And he toured with Bill Monroe and all these guys. And so I was like, man, I said, I want to do this bluegrass record. And because I always recorded, and I never got paid for a session. But every time, I asked him to play, because he's played on a bunch of my songs too, he never charged me. So finally learned how to co-write with him, and I would send him a half-written song, and he would record the rest, and we called it co-write, So I took this story, which is called Highland County, and Highland County, Virginia, which I just found on a crazy I've been studying the life of String Bean and Grandpa Jones, and if you don't know the story of String Bean, look them up. But the day that String Bean and his wife got murdered after he played the Grand Ole Opry, which is November 10th, 1973, because my birthday was on the 12th of November. And so I just, had a little buzz, had a couple beers, and I'm looking up String Bean. And they were supposed to go hunting in Highland County. And I'd already recorded this record. And I wrote this record because they call it Little Switzerland of the East Coast. I'd go hunting up there, deer and squirrel and pheasant and everything else, hunting up there. And it's very filled with Civil War history and just very historical. And they call it the Little Switzerland because it's the highest point on the East Coast. It's right on the border of Virginia and West Virginia. And so I came up with a story that I wrote because I write songs when I'm on my zero term, because I don't listen to music. It takes me about 3 hours to mow my yard, and I just start thinking. And so I wrote this song about this miner that buys 1,000 acres, to provide for his wife and young son. And there's a man named John Henry Butler that comes and wants to buy the land, but the dad doesn't want to sell. So the man, John Henry Butler, kills the dad in front of the son and tears down the house and moves the mom and the son down the hill. And the mother tells the mom that he's going to get revenge. And he does. He gets revenge in the town square and puts 2 between his eyes. And This is 1872, so this is post-Civil War. Yeah. And that's the time frame. And so then the son goes on, he's runs off because he don't want to get caught by the law. And he sends a letter with no return address called Highland County. Mm-hmm. And Vince Gill's singing harmonies with me on that song, which is really cool. And, because I got him through Byron. And then so there's half the story is bluegrass musical and half the story is written. And then he escapes from the law. The law catches up to him, puts him in front of the judge. Judge, sentenced him to die by hanging. And so then the governor pardons him and gives the mom back the land. But is it too late? So you have to listen to the last song called The Fields to know what the end of the story. But Byron Berline played fiddle on it, and he passed away right when we finished that record.
Wow.
He had a couple of strokes, and it took him. And so Vince and I went out there to Oklahoma, Guthrie, where he's from, and we played a celebration of life. There's several thousand people there because he recorded with the Byrds and the Beatles and Bob Dylan. So anyway, I had Ricky Skaggs' band on it too, Byron House and Cody Kilby and Jonathan Hunt and Nikki V. Hines. And so anyway, I had a lot of fun doing this record, and I think y'all enjoy it because it's piano.
Well, it already sounds like I should already have it in my...
I feel like I'm listening to a movie here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went out and we recorded. We played. Byron had a festival every year out in Guthrie called the Oklahoma International Bluegrass Festival. This is the 24th year. Of course, they had to skip last year. And so with his band, because his band still plays, called Byron Berline and Legacy Grass. And so we did the whole album twice from front to finish for all the folks, and it was really great. I didn't know how it was going to go over, but it went over really great. I sold about 100 albums in about 15 minutes, which was really cool. and so just had a great time, man. And so I've always been in love with bluegrass music, any genre that's good, any good music. But I really love to write it, and I think y'all would like to hear that,
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't
Well, I
wait.
can't wait for you to come over and hang out with us, and we'll have some.
Yeah, we can talk all about this. But you wanted to hear a story,
Yeah.
and I can tell you a story. You know how Blake Shelton is always a jokester, a prankster.
Yes.
Well,
Love
I
Blake
played a
Shelton.
couple pranks on him, and one was he was good friends with Peyton Manning, and we were playing at the Riverbend Festival. This had been about 2007, so this is several years ago.
Yeah.
When I was 18, I'm
Yeah.
25
Yeah.
now, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
That's
I'm
good.
glad you remembered your age. That means you're not getting older.
That's right. And so, so he calls us. We're playing the Riverbend Festival in Chattanooga, and the tradition is that the artist parks on the other side of the river. They take a little boat over to the stage, and the stage is literally right by the dock, and it goes up about 100 feet because the people on the other side, it goes straight down at the bottom of the stage. So they're pretty much on this road that leads, it's probably about 50 yards in front of you. It's really weird setup. But anyway, Blake comes over for sound check. That's what I loved about him, because he would always do sound check with us. And he says, "Hey guys, Peyton's coming to town. Go get some memorabilia and he'll sign it for you." And I had some friends coming in from Ohio, and I called them. I said, "Bring me a football, Peyton Manning's coming." They're like, no kidding, I'm like, no kidding. And so, when I got done with sound check, I had my mountain bike on the tractor trailer, and so I would take my mountain bike out and I'd just start riding just to kind of get away from everything,
Yeah.
But I'll talk to people from the venue, and I was talking to this elderly lady in the lunch hall, and she says, "You know what? Peyton was supposed to come, but he just opened a new Blue Chair some new wine or something. He had something that he just started,
Right.
and he's not going to be able to come in." And so I found this out, but nobody else knew. And so I signed this football, number 69, Clayton Panning. And next day, we rolled up, and we're in Louisiana somewhere playing. And I knock on Blake's bus because he was on a different bus. He had two buses and a tractor trailer. He had the band bus, and he had his bus, and then he had a tractor trailer, and that was all we had. Now he probably has 20 buses and 50 tractor trailers. But
That's funny.
so I walk over to his bus and knock on his door, and here comes Blake. He says, "Hey Tim, what's up?" I said, "Dude, you're never gonna believe this." And I'm cradling this football,
Right.
I said, "Dude, Peyton Manning showed up." He's like, "No shit," and I'm like, "Yeah, man." And I was like, "You told us to get some, stuff for him to sign." He's like, "Yeah, I did." I said, "Well, you got done with the show. You were taking the boat back to your bus." And I said, "Peyton and I yelled for you, but I guess the motor was too loud, And I said, "I got this football, man." And I said, "He signed it for me, but I want to give it to you as a gift." He's like, "Man, that's really cool." I said, "It's no problem, man." So I gave it to him, and he looked at this football, and I ain't going to tell you what he called me, but he called me a son of a you-know-what. And so that's one of the pranks that I got Blake on.
Yeah, he's a big prankster, isn't he?
Yeah, oh, man. Oh, I could tell you some stories. I don't know if we could put them all on here, but I'll tell you one real quick. I was in the middle bunk, and you can't put your head up, you know what I mean? The bunks aren't that high. And so he snuck in one morning, and the guitar player was across from me, and I heard some commotion going on, and I opened my curtain on my bunk, and they were messing with the guitar player at the time. And Blake literally put his hand on his midsection, and the guitar player lifted his head real quick and just knocked the crap out of his head on the top of the bunk. And I mean,
wow.
you could see the little bird swirling around.
Oh, my
That
goodness.
was Blake. That's what Blake did, man.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
I was like, dude, if you ever did that, Blake, I said, you'd be dead, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my friend,
Well, Tim,
But there's a couple stories for you.
I think we got
Yes, sir.
a time to play another one of your songs. Which one would you like for us to play?
Why don't you play Highland County?
Okay.
And you can find that that's on YouTube as well. I'll send you the link so we can hear that, and you can share that with everybody because I know you're going to play it here in a minute.
I will.
But I'll share the link with you and play that. That's got Ben Skill singing on with me, and that's one off the Bluegrass records.
All right. Well, Tim, we're going to let you go after this, but we have kind of run out of time. But it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Definitely.
And thank you for sharing the story about Highland County. I can't wait to hear it here in just a moment. Can you give us your your Instagram and all those handles and stuff like that where they can find you?
Yeah. So if you go to timmcdonaldband.com, TIMMCDONALD band, BAND.com. I've got all of those handles at the bottom, which makes it real easy. Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. You can just click on those. It'll send you there. My music's on iTunes, Spotify. It's on pretty much every, media market. I go through CD Baby, and so it kind of they give it to everybody.
Awesome.
So if you Google it, just like Browninger's music, you can find it. So it's all right there on the website.
Well, Bud, it's been a pleasure.
Yes, Tim, and thank you so much, my good friend.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Catching up with you was such a blessing and fun. Can't wait for you to come over, though, like I said, and hang out.
Yeah, I know. We've been friends for a long time. People don't really know that, but, we were friends, when you guys just started dating, and I don't, you were just kind of getting serious into music. I know
That's
you've always
right.
been a serious musician, but, getting into it as a full-time thing.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
It's great to watch everything that you've done and just to see the leaps and bounds.
Oh, you're sweet.
And I know Tony, your husband, is just such a great supporter, and it's good that y'all work and do that as a team because it
Appreciate
definitely, definitely.
Well, you're going to be on the interview here, man. You don't have to keep playing. You don't have to pay us any more money.
Yeah. Hey, let me get that
PayPal.
fixed.
It's like InstaPay.
There ain't no money involved, guys.
No,
we
just
want
kidding.
you all
Venmo,
out there.
InstaPay. Every time I say a compliment, it sends you $10.
All right. Ding, 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 ding. Woo, here it comes.
There you
All
go.
right. All right.
I ain't alive. I'm going broke these days, man. I quit calling my friends.
That's funny. All right, Tim.
You need to write a song on that one, Tim. You and I. I'm going broke these
That's
days.
right. There you go. We'll do it. We'll write something.
Yeah. All right. Well,
That's
we will
Tim
talk
McDonald,
to you soon.
and you can find him on those handles there he gave us at the right there at the end, and we'll put them again on our post that you all can get those shows. And Tim, you have a great Thanksgiving. Oh, anything you want to be thankful for before we leave?
Man, I'm thankful for friends like you.
Awesome. Us too.
And y'all help me get my music out, and y'all are also great friends, and so that's what I'm thankful for.
We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being on our show. That's what I'm thankful for.
Yes, that's right.
Ching, 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 ching. Did you get your Venmo?
I don't know. I just sent it back to you. All right. You have a good one, and we'll.
All right.
You guys, that's Tim McDonald, and we'll be right back after his song.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
I'm sending you this letter with no return address. I know you raised me right, taught me your best, but a man's gotta be a man when someone's done him wrong. And when the time is right, I'll be home. In Island County, in Island County, where you've watched me grow, the seeds of life I've sowed, but now I'm on the run. I had to go from Highland County. By now you've found the money I've tucked away inside, and a few dry teardrops I hope to say goodbye. But don't feel sorry for me, I've got peace deep inside, and I hope this letter finds me alive. And Island County, and Island County, where you watch me grow, the seeds of life I've sown. Now I'm on the run, I had to go from Highland County. And Island County, and Island County, where you watch me grow, the seeds of life I've sowed. Now I'm on the run, I had to go. Where you watch me grow, the seeds of life I've sown. Now I'm on the run, I had to go. Highland County.
And that was Highland County by the Tim McDonald Band. And want to thank Tim for being on our show today.
Yes.
Want to thank our sponsors.
Yes, and I want to say huge thank you to my executive label, Mr. Quest Cross, and the team.
50/50 Global Music. And then Art 19 Bartlesman Group for sponsoring the show. And Sony Music and the Orchard Publishing.
Sony Entertainment, Sony ATV.
And our big sponsor, Sony Bravia TV.
Yes. Awesome, guys. Awesome. Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving this week. Be blessed. And we will be back next week.
Again, this is Brauni, the Authentic Jazz Artist Podcast.